What's going on, everybody? This is Goddess Kendra. Thank you for tuning in. It's been 2 months since I've uploaded a video. Your girl's been busy. So today I want to do a review on Midnight Mass. I'm going to read the 7 summaries for the episode, and then I'm going to give you my opinion. Okay, you have Season 1 called Book 1 Genesis, directed by Mike Flanagan. Riley returns home to his hometown of Crockett Island, a tiny offshore fishing village reeling economically due to an oil spill that crippled its fishing industry. After serving 4 years in prison for a drunk driving crash that killed a young woman, having lost his faith during his incarceration, Riley struggles to reframe with the town's devout Catholic community, including his parents, Anne and Ed, teenage brother Warren, childhood sweetheart and expected mother Erin Green, a jealous parishioner Bev Kane. The community is joined by Father Paul Hill, a young priest claiming to be a temporary replacement for the aging Monsignor Pruitt, who is pilgrimage to the Holy Land. While out at night with his friends, Ooker and Al, Warren spots strange movements in a remote island area populated by cats, later mauled by an unknown entity. The following night, Riley sees the figure of Monsignor Pruitt walking along the beach in a raging storm, but the figure soon vanishes. The next morning, hundreds of dead cats are discovered along the beach. So then you're going to do episode 2 called Book 2 Psalms. The townspeople cannot determine the cause of the death of the cats found along the beach. Bev covers the church, hoping to fend off potential predators. During the night, Bulls, the island drug dealer, is attacked by an unseen assailant. Father Paul meets Lisa Scarborough, the wheelchair-bound daughter of the mayor who was paralyzed after being accidentally shot by the town drunk Joe Cooley during the island's annual Ash Wednesday potluck festival. Joe's dog suddenly dies after eating food off the ground. Joe suspects Bev, whom he despises for extracting church donations from the townsfolk after convincing them to accept a settlement. The oil company that poisoned the bay's water, knowing it would benefit the church. The night Erin, now working as a teacher, witnesses a mysterious figure on her property. Riley attends a one-on-one AA meeting with Father Paul, the town rec center. He expresses his contempt for a God that would allow such evil in the world, owing to the guilt over the fatal car accident during Mass that Sunday. Father Paul insists that Lisa rise from her wheelchair, accepting the miracle to everyone's shock. Lisa stands and walks. Episode 3, entitled Book 3 Proverbs. Crockett Island begins experiencing religious revive after Lisa's sudden recovery, which the residents believe to be a miracle. Liza visits Joe and tells him of the hatred she had harbored towards him for causing her life injuries. only to forgive him eventually, a move Joe decides to attend the AA session with Riley and Father Paul. Sheriff Hassan, whose Muslim faith puts him at odds with the town's Christian population, learning that his son Ali is studying the Bible. Later, he makes an unsuccessful attempt to get Bev to stop handing out Bibles to public schools. Children at the town meeting. Father Paul collapses before Bev and the Scarborough and dies after coughing up blood, only to suddenly spring back to life in a flashback taking place that night before his first sermon on the island. Paul sits in a confessional booth. He reveals that the true story of Monsignor Prout near Jerusalem, Prout, who caught in a sandstorm and discovers an ancient ruin where he was attacked by a winged blood-sucking humanoid creature that then fed him its lifeblood. Prout awoke the next morning to discover he had regained his youth and revealed Father Paul's true identity as a revived Monsignor Prout. Paul and Prout confessed that he believed the creature that attacked him is an angel and his blood healing properties constitute a divine gift that he intended to share. Episode 3, Book 3, Lamentations. Crooked's resident Dr. Sarah Gunning discovered that Aaron's fetus had mysteriously disappeared from her uterus and concluded that Aaron had miscarried. A distraught Aaron traveled to the mainland the next morning for a second opinion, but the doctor cannot find any evidence that Aaron was even pregnant. Father Paul revealed that the sunlight burning him after his resurrection, and Bev decides his true identity as a Monsignor Prout. Unable to perform his duties in the broad daylight, Paul performs an at-home service with Sarah's elderly mother, Mildred, who suffered from dementia but recognized Paul as Prout. Joe visits Father Paul that night and sees him drinking the angel's blood, which Paul has with communion wine, and feeding his congregation. Overcome by an insatiable thirst, Paul kills Joe and drinks his blood. Bev, Mayor Scarborough, and local discovered the scene the following morning. Bev elects to cover it up, believing Paul's resurrection to be an omen of the second coming of Christ. During an AA session, Paul claims to Riley that Joe is absent because he is visiting his sister. Riley, knowing Joe's sister to be deceased, returns to the wreck later at night to confront Paul, but walks into the angel's shed blood into a decant. Upon seeing Riley, the angel attacks him. Episode 4, Gospel. Concerned over Riley's sudden disappearance, Aaron files a missing persons case with Sheriff Hassan, who hypnotizes that Riley may have a relapse or committed suicide. On the evening of Good Friday Mass, Father Paul delivers a sermon rifle with saying weird things and using God's word in a weird way, urging the congregation to be prepared for war as soldiers in God's army. The homily upsets Mildred Goonan, whose physical and mental state has rapidly improved following Father Paul's visit. Later that night, Riley appears to Erin's door, asking her to go offshore on a boat with him. Erin, while suspicious, agrees. Rowing far from the island, Riley reveals what happened to him to Erin after being attacked by the angel. Riley rapidly recovers under the care of Father Paul, who reveals his true identity to him and told him that he believes the angel's blood is a gift from God and has been mixing it into the community wine to the residents of Crockett Island. Riley left the rec center, disgusted and dispositioned, farewell letter for his family and Prue before visiting Erin. Riley tells Erin he brought her on the boat to isolate himself and declares his love to her. Riley combusts and quickly burns to ashes as Erin screams in horror as the sun rises. Episode 6, Acts of Apostle. Erin returns to the island where Sarah shows her the rejuvenized Mildred and how her blood samples burn into the sunlight, theorizing that Father Paul is inducing medical miracles via the wine at church, and Erin's consumption of it is what killed her baby. She relays her suspicion to Sheriff Hassan, who refuses to investigate the church, fearing further alienation from the isolation. Erin, Sarah, and Mildred attempt to get on the ferry to the mainland, but discovers that Mayor Scarborough has sent the ferry away. That night, Strug cuts power to the town. At Mass, Father Paul reveals that he is Monsignor Prout, unveiling the angel to the shocking congregation. Prout informs them that they all have the angel's blood and encourages them to drink poison to die and be reborn. Several residents drink it, including Liza's parents, Strug, Uker, and Ali. Mildred shot Prout and is attacked by the angel. The undead congregation resurrects and attacks those who have not drunk the poison. Ed is turned while Erin, Hassan, Liza, Sarah, Warren, and Annie escape. Erin shoots Bev, and a resurrected Bev and Strug unleash the undead congregation onto the town folks. Episode 7, called Revelation. Sorry, y'all, I have a little runny nose. The now turned Mildred reunites with Prout. The two were lovers years ago, and Sarah is their daughter. Prout brought the angel to the island to rejuvenate Mildred so that they could have a second chance to be together. Erin and her allies set fire to the boat and prevent the turned churchgoers from leaving. Bev led the turn on a vampirish rampage, killing anyone they find. Prout, horrified by the violence, denounces Bev, and she denounces him as a false prophet. Bev orders her followers to burn down everything except the church and the the rec center, which she is intended to use as a shelter for sunlight. Aaron and her allies attempt to burn down the church and the rec center, but Strug shot Sarah. Bev mortally wounded Hassan, and the angel attacked Aaron. Aaron slashes its wings as she dies to prevent it from escaping. The churchgoers are appalled at what they have done and abandon Bev's cause. Ali burns down the rec center, leaving no shelter for the turn. As dawn approaches, the remorseful townspeople gather to be immortal by the sun while singing, "Near, my God, to thee." Liza and Warren, who row offshore to avoid the carnage, are the island's only survivors. They watch the angel attempt to fly away, but notice that its wings failing. Bev, Ali, Proop, Mildred, and the rest of the island burn to death as Liza and Warren watch the island succumb to the fires. Liza's legs became immobile again. So this show really bothered me. Basically, like they said, the new pastor said that the old pastor was sick, right? And that he'd be taking his place. He does miracles, and I tell people, when your energy is not right, just like a higher power God or the ancestors, demons can do miracles as well, right? So when things start sounding weird, these people were following religion blindly without thinking. How can you follow someone when he tells you, "I lied, I'm really the pastor, I came upon this angel, and please drink poison and die"? That's some Jim Jones shit. And basically, do as I say. And when people want to leave, you want to hold them hostage. That is some weird shit. Number one, people have an idea. It may not agree with what they went through at first, but you can't sit there and force them to do what you want to do. I know when Riley came back, his parents were looking at him weird, and then so were the town people being judgy. But y'all were following a damn cult. This whole series made me want to just puke on how disgustingly and how blind people can sit there and follow aimlessly, knowing what they're doing is wrong. And like I said, I am not a religious person. I believe in spirituality. I believe religion really divides people and makes people go, "I don't like this person, I hate this person." No, we should be able to be different and there not be an issue. Like, one should be able to be Christian, Muslim, no believer. And as long as you're a good person, I don't care what you follow. But as a one who does not believe that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, nobody else should be able to be like, "Oh, you ain't shit," and have a certain idea. I know children have been touched in the church and people want to cover up things. And there's just a lot that doesn't make sense to me. But this show has proven what I've been saying for years. Religion is a lie. This is like, after watching them people do those evil things and not feel bad about what they're doing, and people want to judge people, you guys were turned into vampires, and you guys all fucking died, except the people who realized, hello, let me get out of this. Let me not do what I need to do. Let me think for a second. Like, my whole thing was, ever since I was a little child, for the first 6 years of my life, I believed in no religion. And then I was forced to be a Christian at 16 or 17. I started saying, hey, if you guys are treating people this way because they're not a Christian, something is weird. So for a long time, I stopped following this. And then at the end of the day, my closest friend show me what was up. And even when I was little, I always felt a demonic entity in the church, and it would scare me half to death. So people can truly see a demon amongst them and know that this is a demon, but will let a man say, this is an angel. What the heck? Because people who could tell the future and people who can heal are not evil people. Those who are in tune with the earth and those who are in tune with thyself, have good energy, and you idiots follow this stuff. This season 1 of Midnight Mass really made me feel really disgusting and say, how can y'all people not think for yourself? Because I tell people this all the time. If it doesn't have a date and time, it does not exist. Okay? And then let's talk culture. The European has been alive a little over 6,000 years. African people have been here over billions and billions of years. So a lot of our inventions and way of life, even the 42 laws of Ma'at, even Christians copy that and made it the 10 commandments. So that tells you a lot. Do your research and stop being a follower. But the show overall was good. And I suggest anybody take a minute and read this. Not read this, but watch the show. And it's on Netflix. Thank you very much. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and have a wonderful day.